We
No whammy.
have
No whammy. No whammy.
Oh, we got the Phillies. I think it's 40. Not a great countdown guy. I think it's 40-ish days until we get to the trade deadline. So we'll do a little wheel spinning and we will find out which team we are running and what we would like to do with said team. So, AJ, would you like to spin the wheel?
Sure.
I think you have to do some type of motion. All right. Well, I guess you just stared at it and it started moving. The Texas Rangers are up first, a former Pierzynski team. Yeah. What would you like to do to fix the Rangers right now?
First of all, get healthy. I mean, the biggest thing for them is get healthy and try to tread water until Scherzer, DeGrom, Molly, these guys come back. But right now they are falling farther and farther behind. They're 9 games behind the Mariners, 7 games out of a wild card. It looks like they might be dead before their reinforcements get back. So they got to figure out a way to get back to 500 and start hitting, because they have not hit at all. And they don't hit four-seam fastballs. Talked about it yesterday, but they got to figure it out quick because time is getting short. Otherwise, they're not going to sell because they don't have a lot of pieces to sell. Maybe a Robertson or a Kirby Yates, but otherwise, I mean, they just got to get healthy and get to swinging the bat and then worry about it, because right now they're not in any contention or any place to do anything other than play out the rest of the season.
That's the interesting part, Kratz. We've mentioned this since the offseason. The Rangers are going to have reinforcements. Most of those reinforcements are pitchers. Young is on his rehab assignment right now, Josh Young. Sabors is too. And then there's a million pitchers we can go over, like AJ started to mention, DeGrom, Scherzer, Bradford, etc. Right? They've taken a big hit. Most of their hitters are there right now.
I mean, Seager's been in and out of the lineup with a couple little dinged up injuries, but I'm looking it up right now. Where's Evan Carter? Like, what is?
He's hurt.
You know, I know he's hurt now. I know he's hurt now, but what happened? Was he playing through injuries? Was there a sophomore slump? Was it he barely even had his freshman year. Like, he was still rookie eligible. I didn't see what he was doing coming, and is that kind of permeated their lineup? Another team I haven't watched enough of, but if you just look at their offensive numbers, I had a little bit of – I was a little skeptical of the Diamondbacks this year. I was not skeptical of this team. I thought Adolis Garcia was going to take another step on top of what he did last year. I thought all the experience they got in the postseason, this lineup was going to do more than what they did. I mean, even for a little bit there, Seager had 7 games in a row. He had, I think it was 7 in a row, or he had 7 in 6 games, something like that. But you expect more from this lineup because of what they did all year last year, even when Josh Young went down.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I think at least 2 out of the top 3 in terms of BetMGM odds to win AL Rookie of the Year were Carter and Langford. Who am I missing? But I think that was 2 of the top 3 that we were talking about. We were debating among those 2 who was going to have a better year, and they've been non-factors. Yeah, Seager hasn't played the whole year. When he has played, he's been great. You know, I think he had the slow start when he came back. Then he went on the home run heater. So if you look at the numbers for him, he's not a problem at all. Simeon's solid as usual. After that, you're like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's weird because we were bragging about this team in the offseason and how they might have, problems with fitting everyone in the lineup. It rarely turns out that way. I just don't think anyone expected it to go this far down after what they did last year as an offense during the season. The concern was more on the pitching side and really on the bullpen side for Texas last year, right? That was probably the biggest surprise through the playoff run, AJ, right? Would be the bullpen, like what Leclerc did, what Sabors did. That's really what put them over the top. I don't think anyone was shocked that they were hitting the crap out of the ball based on their regular season last year.
And they'll admit it. I mean, but you look at it this year, Leclerc has been bad again. Sabors has been hurt. It's been Yates and Robertson, and their bullpen actually has been okay when those 2 get in the game. The problem is they can't get them into the game with the lead because they're not hitting. After Simeon's been good, Seager's been good. He did go 0-for in the series against Seattle, which is never good. But after those 2, I mean, Adolis Garcia struggled. Nathaniel Lowe has struggled. Jonah Heim, who has been struggled. He just had another baby, so he's on the paternity leave. But Langford hasn't hit for any power. They were counting on him. Evan Carter, they were counting on him. He hasn't done anything. Tavares, Duran haven't done anything. And Young obviously needs to get back. But the thing for me about the Rangers is, where is the offense? Like, there is no offense at all. And, I mean, they went up to Seattle and got destroyed by their pitching staff. So it just, what can they do and who can they go get? Because Chris Young just doesn't want to sit there and let this go away.
When you did that game, did you get any inkling that, like, they thought they were going to get more power from Wyatt Langford? Like, is there a thought when Bochy, I know Bochy, he's going to talk like this to you. I didn't know if he'd give you any information, like, we're not sure if he's going to have power, or it's still coming, or we're surprised he hasn't had power. Did you get any inkling in that sense?
Well, of course they're surprised, because in the minor leagues and in spring training, he hit for power and just kind of went away. Now, he was hurt for a little bit. He had, the hamstring, I think it was. But, he has one home run. It was an inside-the-park home run. He hasn't hit a ball over the fence. He hasn't been driving balls. They were counting on a lot of things. And the one thing that I kept hearing from a lot of their guys is, we can't hit a fastball. And if you look at their numbers, it bears out that they really struggle with four-seam fastballs, especially high-velocity ones. And teams now are just going, phew, 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 and they see a ton of them, and they're just not able to hit them, and they can't figure out why.
Let's spin the wheel. We'll try to do one or two more teams. I'll make a little motion for it. There we go. Thanks, wheel.
It's digital. You don't got to swipe.
No, I'm old school. I like to swipe. Boston. We got the Red Sox.
Red Sox.
So we talked to, that's Red Sox. We talked to Kenny Ballgame earlier about Boston. What would be the plan here? I'll go to AJ again first, because it's another former AJ team. And I mean, they're in a much better position standings-wise than the Rangers are, AJ. But you still look at the team on paper, you're like, this team's not winning a World Series. They'd be very lucky to get into the playoffs. But at the same time, when are you going to stop being a bottom feeder? They have pieces to sell, but do you make the case that if they're in this range, you start to buy? And if so, what are they looking for? More pitching so that you can get through the second half of the season?
I think they need to act like the Boston Red Sox and spend some money and go get some guys. That's the first thing they need to do. They need to go half throttle instead of quarter throttle like they did this offseason. They're already talking about trading their closer, Kenley Jansen. They're 2 games out of the wild card right now. They're 2 games out. The division's probably not a possibility, but they could definitely make a wild card, and they have enough to scare some teams in the postseason if they get in. So I think they need some bullpen help. Definitely, they would love to get another starter. But in a bat, it's always a bat for the Red Sox for me. Now, they've had Hamilton and some of these other young guys come up and be better, I think, than they even thought they'd be. But, Connor Wong's been great behind the plate. Devers has been good for him. When does Cassis come back? But I think they need to improve their defense somehow. They need another bat, and they need a bullpen guy, just like everybody else. So, but beat the Boston Red Sox and go out and spend some money.
FT is headed to the MLB All-Star Game this year, and there's only one way you should be finding tickets for any ball game. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, so they have you covered for all of your baseball ticket needs.
I'm super pumped to hit the Futures game this year. That new skills competition looks electric.
I agree, Kratz. It's like the Olympics for baseball. Cannot wait to see that. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. Baseball season's in full swing, and you don't want to miss out. SeatGeek has your tickets to every game and, of course, concerts, festivals, and more.
Every ticket's backed by their buyer guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps.
And Kratz, FT came through for the people. Use our code FOUL for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code FOUL. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app, please.
What do I want? I want exactly what AJ wants. But I want them to do it with their chest. I want them to say it with their chest. Either go out and spend money, which I don't think they're going to. All the reasons, John Henry's into 1 in 30 odds of winning. He came out and said that maybe 1 in 20 odds of winning. And, he's worried about the PGA Tour. He's worried about NASCAR, Liverpool, all those things. That's fine. then stay out of it and let the GM, let Craig Breslow, put his print on this. And if that's the case, they need to sell some pieces from this team. They need to get what they can to add to the Rafaela, to add to the, Wilyer Abreu, to add to Marcelo Meyer coming up from the minor leagues, to add to that, add some more pieces with, hey, you can get something for Kenley Jansen. Everybody wants a closer. You can get something for Tyler O'Neill. You can get pieces and build the team around Devers, Duran. Wong has shown he should be considered their catcher of the future, the one last piece of the Mookie Betts trade. To me, just do it. Just say it with your chest.
We have
no whammy. No whammy.
Oh, we got the Phillies on a David Dahl day. The Philadelphia Phillies. Well, AJ, we know that they're perfect. They have nothing to do. If only we could clone them and give them to everyone else, right?
That's it. They've got everything right.
I mean, I'd love to see him go get another bat somewhere in the outfield, whether it's something, just something. I know Schwarber's started heated up. He had 2 homers. Castellanos has heated up a little bit. Brandon Marsh is just coming back, but man, I'd love to see him go get a center fielder, a true center fielder or left fielder, or somebody that can just mash. Because shortstop's good, obviously third base is good, first base you're covered, catcher you're covered, right is Castellanos, DH is Schwarber, Marsh is in left or center depending on where they deploy him. Gosh, I'd love to see him go get just one more, because then they'd be a complete team for me with just an incredible lineup. But will they do that? I don't know. Dave Dombrowski's been known to make the big move, so him and Sam fold together. Let's see what happens.
What about Luis Robert?
Sure, I'd love to get the prospects for Luis Robert. Let's go.
Yeah, and they have them. They have the prospects. Like we're talking after this show in about 10 minutes. We'll, if you're on here, we'll flip to the Baseball America Hot Sheet show. We're talking to Aiden Miller. He jumped up Baseball America's top 100 board more than any other prospect. He is becoming a big, big deal. Now, that probably means Philly's going to keep him, but it's McAble. It's Andrew Painter. I'm missing our boy Crawford, who we spoke to in the system, who definitely has some value. Like, there are probably 5 to 7 names now, Kratz, that you can talk about if you're Philly and say, hey, we are shelving, maybe it's Miller and Painter, but there is still like some significant value to select here if they're trying to make a trade. I don't know if that gets you Robert, but I'm saying like they have pieces to be able to pick up another outfield bat and maybe a reliever if they want one.
They have a lot. There's a lot to get Robert. Like Luis Robert is not going to be, well, we'll just give them who would they like? They want 3 guys from our 10 to 20. Luis Robert's going to get you maybe McAble and Andrew Painter. Like that is a significant haul with somebody else mixed in. To me, I think if the Phillies make a bold move, it might be shedding Nick Castellanos, who was a all-star last year, shedding that contract, trying to buy a player from someone else. And I'm not saying a Kevin Pillar. I'm saying if that's the case, figuring out how to trade for some type of impact right-handed bat without sacrificing the defense. And I know Nick is not the greatest defender, but left and center field and every other position, Bryce at first is just above average. He's essentially an average first baseman. They are elite right now defensively, and your strength is your pitching. You have Matt Strahm in the bullpen, who just gave up his first run in 27 outings. You have Hoffman, you have Alvarado, you have Sir Anthony, you have Soto, a bullpen that's elite. You have the top 3 Cy Young candidates on the BetMGM website right now. The at odds for the NL Cy Young, it goes Ranger, Wheeler, then Nola. And you sit there and you go, if we add another outfielder, how is that going to affect our defense? Because whoever they're adding, if it's a significant bat, like AJ said, they're going to be out there every day. That defense needs to be elite. and Rojas is now down in the minor leagues. So it kind of shows that's what they might be looking for.
Mm-hmm. Also, just a little note. It sounds like Aiden Miller gets pushed to next week because of a little timing issue, but stay tuned on that front. Still watch Hot Sheet.
He gone.
But he'll be back. We've had some nice guests lately. Okay, let's get to a quick tweet on where the Rockies are at, which will be no surprise to anyone, and then we'll go through our locks. Patrick Saunders covers this team for the Denver Post with this tweet. I've read a lot of speculation / opinion that the Rockies will / should trade Ryan McMahon. From everything I've been told, he's not going anywhere. If you've been watching and listening to FT, you've known that for a while now. There are multiple reasons why. Ownership loves him. They run like mom and pop. They pick certain players that they love. They keep them. They do not care if his value is great right now and there are not many sellers. Like, that is not going to deter them from getting rid of a player like this. Yes? Are you getting a call?
No, not a call. I just wanted to cover up my mic so that you guys couldn't hear. Like, there's crying from New York. I'm pretty close to New York, about 90 to 100 miles from New York City, from the Bronx. I just wanted to make sure Yankees fans didn't know that they couldn't just go ahead and like take whatever player they want from whatever team for their position of need.
Good to know, and very true. Yes, for teams that are looking for an infielder, non-shortstop, but McMahon technically can play first, third, and even some second. Not likely to happen. And I feel like it's a broken record, but we've talked about this already for, 2 years, that Ryan McMahon's probably not available, and that the Rockies generally don't do a ton of selling, especially not the big names at the deadline. Can you maybe pull off a bullpen piece or two, I guess, although their bullpen's been atrocious, although it's also Colorado.
We have some fun stuff coming up, you and I, you guys. We're going to head to Chicago, and we're going to be part of a NASCAR event. It's going to be a good time. I can't wait for this. It's July 6th and 7th. It's a racing and music experience at Grant Park in Chicago. One of the best cities in the summer, Chicago is. There's going to be a performance from Keith Urban, the Chainsmokers, the Black Keys, and Lauren Elena. So that's awesome if you're into country music. We're going to do a special race day foul territory. I got lucky because Scott's off, so I get to go with you guys. From there at 11 a.m. Central Time on July 7th. From site, it's going to be me, and it's going to be AJ, and it's going to be Kip. Jason Kipnis is going to be there. Sorry that you can't go, Kratzy. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe I took your seat. I don't know.
No. I just didn't get invited. There's part of, sometimes when they make the starting lineup, you don't get to play 10 players. So I assume that I'm the fourth best option on this. So I never got invited.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. You'll be there in spirit. I'm psyched. I'm psyched I get to go. I'm not going to lie about that. So huge country music fan. It'll be fun to be there at the event. We're going to be doing a show live from Grant Park. It's going to be super, super cool. So join us if you can. That'd be great.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.